Welcome back to another episode on Connie Celica, my 1977 Toyota Celica. I think you guys know what time it is. It's finally time to load this thing in the trailer and take it for paint. That's right, I have figured out a way to take Connie across the border to our friends from the Street Bandito channel. They, as I've mentioned before, run a body shop in the Baltimore, Maryland area, and we weren't sure if we'd be able to cross the border or not, but I have since been across the border once for business purposes to pick some stuff up for the shop here, and I was told at the border that I'd be allowed to bring the car across the border if it was for business reasons, which this is. This is a business that we're running, and this car is getting built for the business. So we are gonna cross the border with it. I may get to the border and get turned around, so stay tuned for that. Hopefully we don't have any drama and actually make it to Baltimore. So the car is loaded up and ready to go. As you'll recall, an episode or two ago, we built this dolly for it, which is functioning well. We did tune it up a little bit because it was a little teeter-tottery, so we fixed it up a little off camera, and I have loaded it up full of all the bits and pieces that you need to take for body and paint. So let me give you a quick little show and tell here what I've loaded inside. This is just stuff that either needs to get painted or I wanted Tim and the guys to be able to have a look at for potentially making carbon parts from. So if you're a follower of their channel already, you'll know that Tim there, who runs Industry Garage as a side hustle, built a lot of really cool carbon stuff, including a completely carbon fiber 240Z. I assume it's a 240Z, it's an S30 chassis. You'll see it later this episode, so stick around for that. And we talked about maybe building some carbon parts. So one of the ideas I had was this shifter, your shift lever would fit in the hole here, but because we've relocated the shifter, this hole would have to move back. So I got to thinking, what if we built like a carbon overlay for it that blocked off the top half and opened up the bottom half of it, and that would allow me to put the center tunnel plastics back in and have it look proper and kind of modernize it a bit too with a bit of carbon trim. We're talking about building a carbon roof while we're down there. I know we went through all the trouble of building this sunroof plug. What we're thinking actually is painting the top of it so you won't even know it's carbon from the outside, but leaving the carbon exposed on the inside. So it'll ultimately have like a carbon fiber headliner inside rather than a traditional headliner. I know I showed you headliner options earlier. That stuff will get used elsewhere, like maybe as trunk liner. There's a few other little carbon bits and pieces that we're kicking ideas around on. I won't spoil the surprise on that just yet, but I put the fender flares in there, the other bits and pieces for the body kit, really anything that he might need to paint, like the grille and the taillight surrounds that need to be blacked out. So it's all loaded up and ready to go. So now it's time to load this car into the trailer and get it ready to go. As you can see, we've got our big enclosed trailer here, and by ours I mean Envy Autos. We borrow their stuff all the time, including this, I think it's a 24-foot trailer. Maybe it's a bit smaller than that. Anyway, 24-foot enclosed trailer. And the reason we didn't use our open trailer, which is also not ours, we borrow that one too, but I figured with this car being bare like this, it's probably best to put it in an enclosed trailer. It's kind of a sail when it's all open like this with the wind blowing through it, and if it rains, it's going to get filled with water.
It's going to start rusting.
Yeah, maybe. It could. You're right. There's a lot of unprotected metal in there with the roll bars and whatnot, so better to put it in there. Better for security too. And if for some reason the dolly was to fail, at least it's contained in the trailer. It wouldn't just like fly off an open trailer. So all in all, I think it's just a smart way to go.
Okay. Woo! You want to walk. How's that side, Buck?
Good, you got lots of room. Well, it was a little bit of a struggle to get it in there, but we've got it in a good position, strapped down front and back. Pete had the bright idea of actually using the suspension bolts that go through some chassis members to ratchet strap to, and I think it's worked really well. So let's close this thing off and get ready to hit the road. America, I am inside you. New York State, you're a beautiful place. Rolling hills. I'm on these back one-lane highways because there doesn't seem to be a really good interstate route to Baltimore from here, but man, it was a beautiful drive until I got stuck behind this 18-wheeler here who's doing like, I don't know, 25 miles per hour in a 55 zone, because I guess he's pulling a heavy load. I think there's another lane here. It says up here, trucks, buses, and cars with trailers must exit in a quarter mile. Well, I lost the fight against that truck. I actually needed to pull off for gas anyway, so it worked out fine, but he's nowhere to be found now, so it seems to be smooth sailing from here. So let's just enjoy some New York State scenery because, man, this is one beautiful state. Random update. We just crossed the state line from New York into Pennsylvania, and that is a good thing because the speed limit just went up from 65 to 70, so thank you Pennsylvania for that. And we're still up in these high hills. I don't know if these are like the Appalachian Mountains or what, but it is still beautiful. So pedal to the metal, folks. Let's keep making tracks. Whew, I made it 7.5 hours later, and I am parked outside of the Street Bandito's body shop. I think it's called Baltimore Body and Service, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably. He's gonna have to swing wide.
No idea what you're in for. We're just going now. Sweet. All right, everybody. These marks on the body can only mean one thing. The boys are getting serious.
Yep.
Everyone. On the screens left, you have Tim, and on the screens right, you have Greg, and over here we have videographer extraordinaire.
How do you do?
So what do you guys make of my hot mess here so far?
Honestly, it has a lot less dents than I imagined it would.
Yeah?
Yeah, I fixed my friend's 240 the other day. He had twice as many dents.
So where do we start out? Now that you've circled dents, where do we go from here?
Stripping a lot of it down. We definitely see a lot of primer chipping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you don't want to put paint on top of that, so.
Are you worried that the primer might fail? Like, it's been on the car a long time.
I'll probably sand it, yeah, pretty much off.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then try to get as many dents as we can before the first coat of primer.
Okay.
And then we'll guide coat the whole thing and then block it and then find probably a few more like wobbles, imperfections, and then another prime and then
Right.
sand and then paint.
So you're actually going to make an effort. That's impressive.
We're gonna try it.
I appreciate it. And the
It's much harder finding dents though on a matte
yeah,
surface.
fair.
If
It
it
looks
was
better
like-
on video than it does.
Sometimes you have to paint something twice to get it perfect.
Really? Well, let's hope that's not the case. Well, maybe it's time we talk about paint colors?
Yeah.
Do we do that now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, everybody, we moved out back here to show you the colors we're playing with in the sun, and we've kind of lost the sun
Sun has
now.
gone down.
So we're not going to see a lot of like the metal flake in it, but trust me when I say the Hakone green in the middle there does have a lot of metal flake in it normally.
Yeah.
So it looks almost black here, but it's actually in the sunlight it really comes alive a lot more. We'll throw a photo in, like a sunny photo in here, so you can see kind of what it looked like in the sunshine. And these other ones, some of them were from that pole. Like this one, I think. Actually, this wasn't in the pole. This is a Lexus. What's it called? Flare yellow.
Yeah.
And I picked that with a friend from Norway, Lars. Thank you for convincing me to throw this in the mix. He runs a body shop in Norway, and it's like, you must pick this color. So I threw it in there, and it is really cool.
Because he hates us, because it's going to be so difficult to paint. Because
Yeah,
it's
you-
the only one here that's a 3-stage.
Right?
And it's an odd 3-stage because it has
Oh yeah, you can see
a
some sparkle
deep
there now.
orange is the first color you paint, and then the actual pearl with the yellow is like a translucent yellow put on top. So if you do a little bit too much on one panel and more on another, it'll look more orange or
I
more
see.
yellow.
This one, we were thinking it was going to be that Orion turquoise metallic, which is a classic color from the Celica, but you couldn't get that through your system. So we thought, I saw this M2 the other day in a very similar color that I thought looked really cool. And
Yeah,
you
so
knew
it's
the
Long
color.
Beach
Long
blue
Beach
metallic, I
teal?
believe.
Oh, blue metallic, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so we can get that color, but for some reason when I pull it up, a lot of older colors for certain manufacturers don't pull up with our system. It can't mix them for some reason.
Okay.
But we can get them mixed next door. So.
Sure. We were talking about Safari Gold as an option too, which is a classic Datsun color.
Yeah, it's almost like a better version of this, like more iconic.
Championship white, because I'm an old Honda fanboy, and I just think if I'm gonna paint a car white, why not Championship white? It's like a warmer white, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's got more like a bit of
It's
yellow
like
in it? Or?
Yeah, it's got yellow, a little bit of red in it.
Yeah.
And last but not least, you've thrown in maritime blue.
Maritime, rid of me. It's a Porsche color, I don't know. But if you have an aggressive car, it looks really good.
Yeah. There's also
Yeah,
like
that thing looked
the
awesome.
Bahama blue and the Mexico blue. They have a lot of
Porsche has
cool
so
blues.
many blues in that same spectrum.
Yes. Which are badass colors.
Yeah.
We don't even have to decide today, do we? There's some work to
No.
do on the car, so
Yeah.
we'll try to make a decision by the end of this episode, but if we don't, then don't be angry. We'll keep teasing this for another month or two.
Yeah.
So let's go talk about other things, because I can't make up my mind yet. All right, so we have moved on to talking about carbon things, because that's part of what Tim does here. He's a carbon guy. And we've thought about one way to fix this this cauliflower roof that I've built for us is to just replace it with some carbon fiber.
Yeah.
So what would that process look like? Hopefully you guys will film a little bit of it so I can send people to your channel and see that process.
We'll do a video on the roof in itself, I'm sure.
Right. So you were thinking you might actually leave the drip rail area intact?
Yeah,
rather
so
than
I'll leave
moving
like an inch of material around the perimeter still there. And then
Okay.
we can take it all the way down to the bare metal. And then that way, well, first, obviously, we're going to fill all these dents, make the carbon roof. But when we're bonding it, that'll at least give us a nice, large surface area to attach to. Making it seamless on the outside and having it carbon on the inside would be really cool. If you don't- yeah.
Yeah, and that way you really only have to make the underside pretty. The top side doesn't have to be pretty because we're going to paint it anyway.
Yeah.
It just has to be like not as wavy as what I'm giving you.
Exactly.
And we're also talking about maybe doing some carbon bits inside. All right, everyone, enough talk about Connie. Let's look at some carbon things. Man, this hood, how many hours goes into something like this?
I don't even know, actually.
You don't want to know, do you?
Yeah. Well, this panel especially, because this is actually the hood, fenders, headlight buckets, cowl piece, and the 2 inspection pieces for the fenders. So this is like 8 panels welded together.
And this car is probably how a lot of people find your channel. Just the Carbon Z is sort of like your
it's kinda how we
signature
started
build at the
blowing
moment.
up, and then we kind of moved on to like his 350 and his S2000.
Yeah.
There.
So this thing is now powered by a turbocharged, is it an F20 or 22?
22.
22, okay.
I have an 08. All of the cage and the welding of all these little brackets and stuff was all done by my buddy Josh.
Okay.
But other than that, we have done everything. We cut the windows, we made every panel.
They got the swag, and they got the mold for the rear diffuser that you're going to be selling. Are you selling it already?
No, not yet. It'll be available in like a week or 2.
It's coming in a variety of widths and flavors.
Yeah, 3 different sizes, and
Comes in strawberry, lime,
yeah.
lemon flavor.
And I'm thinking about offering carbon mounts for it as well, but we'll see how that goes.
So the diffuser will not be lime green, it'll be carbon fiber.
Yeah, I have one made already sitting on my car.
Ah, well, let's have a look. There you go, everyone.
The front of it will use the same quick latches as like the hood and everything else. These little guys. So you'll be able to essentially just slide it under, locate the pins, and then click it in.
Oh, cool. So that's what
And
these
then-
guys here are.
Well, so the back will be using these, and this will have the actual rod on it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So the quick latches are those little pins.
Push button ones. Yeah.
And having them underneath is going to be useful just because they can hold a ton of weight,
Okay.
and it just makes it so much easier because taking this thing on and off when you're getting on and off the trailer is going to be a nightmare.
Exclusive carbon fiber parts coming soon.
Exclusive,
Courtesy
exclusive,
of
exclusive.
Tim Hicks of Industry Garage. Exclusive. Oh, he's making a splitter.
Are you making a splitter for it?
Yeah, we're going to do a splitter and diffuser and canards.
In the music world, we call that a mashup, guys, just so you know. You're mashing up your carbon manufacturers.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, this is the real reason why he went turbo.
This is it. You dragged them down.
Woo!
Look at that.
It's not as clean as his, but it's clean enough.
See, this is what we should have done with the Badass 2000, right?
I did completely new wiring. Like I did change the whole engine harness. which
I saw
was
that
extremely
episode.
janky.
Yes.
What else I did?
You put an oil cooler on it.
You're right.
I watched that episode
19
too.
row oil cooler.
Yes.
That was a fun process.
Yeah. I saw your family's home driveway while you did it.
Yeah. That was,
I now know where you live. I can find you.
Welcome.
Exactly.
Come visit me. We can have some cold brewskis.
So we have a red 350Z at our shop with a lot less angle than you have. So I guess you're actually trying to drift this properly, huh?
Yeah, yep. So I have the PBM angle kit. Yeah, because the stock suspension, it has 2 lower control arms, so it can only ever turn so much.
Right.
So the PBM turns the 2 lower control arms into a single, so there's only 1 pivot point on the bottom
sweet.
of the wheel. Pretty much other than that, engine stock, BC coilovers, all the control arms.
It's the way a 350Z drift car should be set up, because you don't really need more
Right.
power, do you?
No, not at this point. I want more power, but I don't. My skill's not there, but I
Well,
still want it.
your skill's a lot higher than mine, I'll tell you that.
I don't know. Did you know it's Bluetooth?
No.
Yeah, so I just turn on the little kill switch right there, but then I have the same exact buttons as him too, and I made this little carbon piece. But you see, ignition on,
Oh, yeah.
ignition off,
Oh, sick.
but it's just a little module that mounts here, and then you run all of those wires into the box up there.
That's brilliant.
And then that's got my start also, and then horn, headlights, blinkers, basically the same setup as his. And then we did a little carbon Kevlar roof.
Kevlar roof. And the wing is, I guess for drifting, the wing is functional, but it's mostly style, isn't it?
Yeah. This is a Street Faction wing. It was like $150 on
Oh, wow.
clearance. Yeah.
Style.
Oh, and then dual caliper,
Oh, sick.
obviously. And the zip ties on the...
I saw that, yeah. Let's
Yeah, we were drifting in the back, and it wrapped around the...
Inside, in the building.
In the building around some poles.
So
we have
you
a hose
literally
that
just had
hangs
it back.
off the wall. It wrapped around it, and I did a donut around one of these poles. And
Yeah.
it just like constricted the wing, and then it split in the front and the back.
All right, guys, we are back on my iPhone in my truck, and it is dark out, and that's because it's late. It's like 11:30 p.m. Same day as I drove down, I'm driving home again, and Tim, Craig, Xavier, first of all, thank you very much for entertaining me for a few hours, putting up with my antics, and helping me put some color on Connie. And no, I still haven't picked a color. I know I was supposed to do it this episode, but man, it's just, there's still a lot of body work to do. So realistically, I still have some time, probably a few weeks before they're ready to put any color on it. So I'm gonna mull it over a little further. So sorry to draw this out so much. It's honestly a painful experience to try to pick a color for a car that you love this much. I love Connie, and I want to put the right color on her, and I'm just so conflicted about it. So I don't know. We'll come to a decision eventually. I don't know if I'm any closer to making a decision than I was before I came down here, but I do appreciate Tim spraying all those samples for me and giving me a bit of a feel for what those colors might look like in person. So onward I go here. Why don't we see if I can get you a little night time lapse, and we'll wrap it after that.